This is Afia and this is the Behind the Gram podcast with Making Numbers. I'm joined by DJ Ace and today we are getting behind the gram, finding out who this person really is, whether his Instagram is all just the highlights, whether he, unpacks and really tells his truth on Instagram, or whether he's hiding behind the gram.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Ace. I'm here on the Behind the Gram podcast with Afia with Making Numbers.
This is the Behind the Gram podcast. We are here with Making Numbers. I'm Afia and today we are going behind the Instagram of a very special person. Goes by the name of DJ Ace.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. I'm so glad that you came. I haven't seen you in very, very long.
It's been a long time.
I know.
It's been we had 2 years in the pandemic. And it's been a minute. It's been
a hot minute.
Yeah.
How has your life been since COVID and getting back into the swing of things?
Pandemic it's the same as everyone. Found it difficult at first, but then like everybody, you just maneuver, you pivot, you just try and make it work for the best way that it can help you. I've had surgery during the pandemic, which is interesting, and now I'm just back to work and just trying to get back to how things were pre-pandemic.
Amazing. I feel like it's been hard to adjust. I feel like people forget that there was a actual global pandemic where our country was falling apart.
For sure.
And we just now have to just pick up and carry on like normal.
Exactly.
But we'll get into that. We'll definitely get into that. This podcast is all about kind of uncovering what your Instagram really is about.
Okay.
Get behind the person of the Instagram and also the meaning behind the posts. And I've selected a couple.
Okay.
It took a long time. You have 2,055 Instagram posts.
Okay.
Do you know that?
No, I didn't realize I was that many. I've been told that I don't post enough.
Are you a bit of a grammar?
Not at all. I feel like
post a lot.
In order to be successful on social media, you have to be consistent.
Do you feel pressure to do that?
No, I used to, but now I don't. Sometimes I'm like, I really like to post something, but I've got nothing to post.
Yeah.
So I can go a week without posting, a few days without posting.
I mean,
but I try to make it as post for reasons, it needs to be
not just random pictures. No, but you started in 2011.
Well, there you go.
Do you remember that time starting Instagram? Do you remember when they said this is the Instagram app? Because I just knew it was there. But
I think when you're in when you do when you're in public, I would say I don't feel like I'm in the public eye, but when you're in
you're kind of in the public eye.
People know who you are or whatever. There's pressure to jump on social media early on the newest social media hype early.
Really?
So you just gotta get on there and just see what's going on and work it out yourself.
But at that time, was there you need to post because this brand and
not even.
It was just more friends?
It was just everybody was jumping on Instagram and I didn't want to be left out. So I didn't. It wasn't really about people weren't really making money from social media back then. It was just something to do. It was just a way to show off and keep up with your friends. It was just the visual version of Twitter-ish.
True.
So it wasn't really about that back then. Everyone was just posting.
You were definitely posting because at your first few pictures, I don't know where you went, but you posted about 9 pictures it was not even different pictures. It was 9 pictures of one artist.
Okay.
You just posted them.
Yeah, I think, again, I was just trying to work out what was going on and then it was the first time we ever saw filters.
Yeah,
so
you were using them.
This? I was using filters and I was
making collages.
Making collages. I probably didn't even know that I was posting them to people. I should go in and take them to be fair. But I didn't know.
No, it was nice. I enjoyed going through. It took me a while, but I got through and I selected a couple pictures that I think tell a story about you, or some that I feel let's dig a bit deeper. What's all that about? The first one, look how cute you were.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
I hope everyone can see this, but we're gonna put it up anyway. But this is baby Ace. No, is it secondary school?
That was secondary. I believe that was my first year of secondary school, maybe. So
your trim is sharp.
I'd have been 11 or 12 in that picture.
And this is Bishop Thomas Grant School?
Yes, in Streatham.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What were you like at this age? And did you know that you wanted to... Did you want to always do what you want to do now? Did you want to do that?
I always knew music was something that I wanted to make money in. I always collected records from around that age, maybe even earlier. I was probably about 8 or 9 when I started collecting records. And I was DJing, but I didn't necessarily know that I wanted to DJ. I was DJing, and I enjoyed
At this age?
Yeah, I was like, I got my first pair of turntables at 13, and my cousin was a DJ, and he would teach me how to play. So I was young at that age as well when he was teaching me. And I really loved radio. Like, I would listen to my pirate station like that in that area was Baseline FM, and I always loved it. I, again, just didn't necessarily know that I could make money or be a radio presenter or do what they did. But I always knew that I was into music. I mean, like a lot of young black guys at that age, you'd write raps and you write bars, and you thought that maybe like being an artist was my thing.
Something could come out.
Yeah, so I didn't know it was DJing, I didn't know it was radio. I always loved radio. I just never thought that there was a actual career in it. Sometimes when like there's something that you really want to do as a youngster, you don't necessarily feel like it's something that is actually attainable to you. And but as further along I got in life, I realised it was closer than I thought.
And when did it become attainable? Like, when did you realise, and what age were you when it looked possible?
I would say probably straight out of college, to be fair. So like, straight out of school. So when you're around, you're looking for your sixth form to go to, and I ended up at the BRIT school open evening. And I went up to the radio station. They got a radio station in the school. And then you go upstairs and you look around, you're like, this is an actual radio station. Like, they're going to teach me how to do this.
I'm so jealous of BRIT school people.
Yeah, so at that point I was like, well, if they're teaching you how to do it, then that means there must be jobs in this. So I'm coming here and I'm going to learn this, and this is what I'm going to do. And
Ace at this age, what was he like, and how was school? Did you like school?
Yeah, loved school, man. I always say, like, I don't think I've ever laughed like the way I did in school, like belly laughs, tears every day. Had a lot of people around me, a lot of friends, a lot of memories. Thoroughly enjoyed school, man. I wasn't like, not somebody that would get in trouble. I was like, you'd always hear the same things from my teachers. He's got so much potential, he just doesn't try.
They say that about everyone,
all the same stuff. I wasn't really like, I wasn't a bad boy, I wasn't getting in trouble, but I really enjoyed school. I did.
Amazing. Okay, we're gonna delve into some more. There's a selection. I feel like maybe you can pick the next one.
We will go. We can go with this one.
This one?
Yeah.
Go on, you can click it.
Oh, okay. This is there you go.
Oh, go on. This is
me and Vis, Ace and Vis, legendary radio duo.
I feel like this picture is very legendary.
It's iconic. It's iconic. Yeah, I'd even go as far as saying that.
Can you tell us how this duo even came about?
So yeah, like it's kind of just it kind of goes on from the story. Like I got to the BRIT school at 16, and I met Vis there, and we clicked straight away. We were super close instantly. Had a lot in common. South London, single parent households. We just instantly clicked and had a love of the same music. And what was interesting is during that time we were both on the media course, so we spent a year together, like doing work, and then in our second year we were asked to pick different strands of media, and I went towards radio, he went towards TV, which is interesting, but we both still had a radio show that would go on during lunchtime together, and and then literally at the back of the BRIT school, after leaving the BRIT school, literally a few months later, we heard about One Extra launching, and I cut together a few bits of the radio show we did at the BRIT school, and the rest is history. We was at One Extra when it launched in 2002. We did a lunchtime show, 12 till 3, and then after a couple of years, they moved us to drive time, did that for a long time, did a couple of slots a weekend, and then we went our separate ways. And what's interesting is Viz actually went into TV, which was the strategy he went into, and I stayed on the radio. And Viz is like, he's like producing a lot of TV shows that you guys have been watching, probably don't even know it's him. The Drop, the newest thing on BBC Three with the girl, that's Viz's TV show as well. So he's doing bits.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And when you're like, I mean, iconic figures, when you rarely see black people on TV, but you're kind of representing the scene and, you know, representing for everyone that feels like that is unattainable. How was there a pressure on your back, or did you feel like you automatically became role models?
No, I don't feel like there was a pressure is because without sounding cocky, there wasn't like a lot of people doing what we'd done, so we were just winging it. Like,
but don't you feel that's like pressure though?
No, because we didn't know what was coming after us, and we didn't have the pressure of kind of obtaining the level that anybody did before us. Do you know what I'm saying? It wasn't
you were like setting the benchmark.
We didn't even realise we were doing that. We just wanted to be on TV, and we had an opportunity to do it. And Channel U hollered us and said, look, have you ever done TV before? And we just lied and said, yeah. And then they said, oh, well, we want to start doing programs. And then we used to talk about having a TV show when we was like in college. Like, yo, we should have a TV show. We should call it this and we should do da. So we just literally came with that idea to Channel U, and then it was kind of born. And I think I don't think there was pressure. I think if I look at it now and what's come off the back of like Ace and Vis doing low budget TV, and you can see like the internet and everybody picking up cameras and like not necessarily having to do high quality TV. I think we had a lot to do with the fact that like DIY TV and DIY content has super blown up. It has been a thing, but we didn't know that was coming. So I don't feel like we had any pressure to like show anybody anything or bring anybody through. It was just like
creating a blueprint without even realizing.
We didn't know. We had no idea. And a lot of that Channel U ill out show stuff, we was blagging. We turn up on the day and we just do it. Like, and they'll be like, we're like, who's the guest? They'll tell us who the guest is, and we got a performance, and we were just like, okay, you start, I'll start, and we never knew what each other was gonna say.
No scripts, nothing.
No scripts, nothing.
And how did they receive that? Like the producers, the directors?
Yeah, even with Channel U, it was a lot of people remember Channel U for what it became to be, but we was really there from the beginning. And a lot of people remember like when it was like really super popping, but we was there from the beginning when it was really like building as well. So we were all trying something. We had no idea. If you ever saw like the first show we did, it was so bad. And then we all came back to the drawing board. It was like, okay, well, we should do that. Let's get a new team here. Let's get sound. Let's get we were producing it as well as we was producing it as well as being presenters. So it was like all of us were learning as we went along. And there was a lot of like there was a lot of changes to staff and loads of different things happening over there. But we were part of the growth and the build of Channel U.
Nice. And do you think you and Viz will ever come back together in any capacity?
So we did there was like a Channel U reunion that Universal Music put together a little while ago, and it was really light, but it was fun to work with Viz again, and me and Viz talk all the time, and who knows, man, we're about to celebrate 20 years of One Extra, so I'm sure that at some point we're going to get back together this year to do something which will be fun.
20 years, That's crazy. Gosh, like the next one, we have this picture here. You're wearing a Black Father t-shirt.
Yeah.
And it's got a definition of Black Father. I mean, I can summarize, and it basically says, is somebody who is rising above the negative stereotypes about fathers, Black fathers in particular, a king in his own right, provider, protector, lover, strong foundation, and royalty in his lineage. This was for Father's Day in 2021. When did you become a father?
2004.
Nice. And
24 years old.
24. Did any of your kids have any of your kids? Did any of your friends have kids already, or were you one of the first?
Yes. Damon, a lot of people might know who he is, my barber friend. He has a daughter. She's a little bit older than my one, so he had one a couple of years before. But did anybody else? No, actually. No, I didn't have any friends, like close friends that had children. So yeah, it was quite new.
Yeah, and how did you feel becoming a father?
That was pressure. That was nervous, and I think it was without getting too personal, it was like I grew up without a dad. So I just knew that I wanted to be a great dad. Yeah. So that was the pressure that I was putting on myself, and then it wasn't necessarily, it was like working, I wouldn't say working out, because you can see, I think there's loads of examples as to what a great dad is, but I think just working out in your own head how to achieve that, how to make sure that you are giving your children the best that you can.
And because you said obviously like you didn't grow up with your father, and there was this pressure to now be a good father and do better, but then what examples were you getting, and what sort of thing did you take to kind of become the good father that you are? Yeah,
so I've got like loads of uncles that definitely like I had around me, and I watched them growing up, and I watched them how they were with my cousins. So I definitely had like those kind of examples around me, and then really it was just about kind of just working out what I felt like I didn't necessarily get when I was growing up, and feeling like I wanted to give that to my children. And I didn't always get it right, I'll be honest. Like at first I thought like being a dad was just about making sure the bills are paid and they got shoes, and my kids look fresh, and like at least they got money, and so I was just doing all the work in the world to make sure that there was food on the table, and like that they looked good and all that kind of stuff, but it is a lot more than that. So
what do you think a good father is? I
tease my daughter about it all the time because we're super close now. She's like my best friend, but like it took us a while to bond because I wasn't about. I was just like, at that time I was on TV. I was doing 6 radio shows for the BBC. We did 5 on One Extra and 1 on Radio 1, and then we had Channel U, and then we was DJing and gigging. I was just around, just being around. So we didn't necessarily get that close until for about a year. And then like I started realizing, no, it's not just about that. It's about making sure you spend time and you get close and you're there all the time. So yeah, I feel like time is definitely more important than money when it comes to raising children.
Yeah. And you're a girl dad and a boy dad.
Yeah.
Is there differences? Like, did you find one harder than the other, or?
Yeah, it's not really. I'm seeing, because there's 5 years between them, and I'm seeing I'm remembering the points that he's going through and that she was going through before. So at the moment, my son is definitely in this moody, stroppy teenager phase, and I remember that from 5 years ago with my daughter. So yeah, it's just like it's helping, and yeah, we're very close. Me and my son are very we're into the same stuff. We're like super geeks, nerds. We watch a lot of science fiction, and then my daughter is very musical. So like it's the best of both of me. Yeah.
But do they bring out different sides in you, like a softer side?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely the softer parent. Their mum is the say the word for me.
Authoritarian.
There you go. She's the strict one, which I'm actually I'm very, very blessed to have.
Really?
Because
You're soft.
Oh, 100. No, because I feel like it's so important to have boundaries and have not be a super strict parent, but definitely be a no-nonsense parent, so they know how far
levels,
they can. Yeah. I'm not that parent, but she is, so I thank God for her every day because I feel like we need that yin and yang. But yeah.
Amazing. Cool. Do you want to dig into another one? We've done these 3.
I don't know. What do you want to go for? Okay, we can go for here.
This one.
Yeah.
This is a video.
Right.
I feel like maybe we can play it.
What's going on? It's your boy Ace. And I just wanted to say a big, massive thank you for all of the love, support, messages, the prayers that I've received over the past week. We are now day 6 post my kidney transplant. Operation went really smoothly, kidneys taken. So thank you very, very much, guys, for all of the love and support. Just want to quickly say a few thank yous. There's way too many names to remember, but firstly, obviously, my friends and family have been amazing and my rock at this time. Barbara and all of the staff down at the Sutton Dialysis Unit, my transplant coordinator Tracy, Claire, and all of the staff down at St Heliers, my surgeons obviously for doing an amazing job.
So you mentioned it briefly at the beginning, but obviously during the pandemic you had surgery.
Yeah.
Obviously we've got to talk about what the surgery was for. So what year did everything change in terms of your health?
So I was diagnosed with renal failure in 2018, May of 2018. So one day literally just went for a normal checkup, did some blood work, and they were like, your kidney function is really low, and it seems to be getting worse quite quickly. They said, so eventually you're gonna need to start dialysis. I didn't necessarily know what that meant, but as it got closer, my kidney started getting worse. They was breaking it down for me. We're gonna need to basically do the job for your kidney externally with a dialysis machine, which basically means they take 2 needles, they put them in your arm, and they clean your blood, which is the job of your kidney. Yeah. So mine weren't working, so they said you're gonna need a kidney transplant for you to not have dialysis, which basically dialysis as well again is quite a taxing task. I'm on a dialysis machine 3 times a week for 4.5 hours a day. So that's it's a lot. It was taking up a lot of my life. So they also said that to get a kidney transplant for someone of my age and my ethnicity was going to take 3 to 6 years, whereas it doesn't take that long for white people. So I literally just kind of took it on the chin and just felt like, eventually I was going to get a kidney transplant. One day I'll get a phone call and I'll come down and get a kidney. But I was on dialysis for maybe 2.5 years, coming up to 3 years, and I was just starting to get really fed up with dialysis. I wasn't able to fly or go on holiday properly, and I was missing a lot of things. My lifestyle was too, like, it just was affecting my lifestyle and what I do. So I was just fed up, and I appealed. I put it out there. I made it public that I was looking for a kidney, and eventually I got the phone call to say that there was a match, which was awesome.
Yeah. So social media essentially is what rallied people together to kind of raise awareness to the fact that, you know, the wait for someone of your ethnicity is way longer than somebody of a white background.
Yeah.
How did it feel having to open up and come out for something it's literally your life, and it's a matter of, like, it's serious, like you have to really open up, but what stopped you from doing it earlier, and what made you decide, right, no, I actually need to go and speak to people?
I just think I'm not that person. I'm not like, yes, I got over 2,000 posts on Instagram, but I definitely am very selective about how much of my life I put out there. And
that's fair though.
Yeah, it's fair, do you know what I'm saying? And yes, I'm quite open on air, or I'm open when I get on a microphone, but I'm not on a microphone 24 hours a day. And I choose as and when to be vulnerable, or as and when to let the public in. And I just felt like I was just gonna handle this for 2 years. I didn't even tell people I work with. I was just on dialysis for a long time, and I just felt like, nah, I'm just gonna wait till I get my kidney. I'll probably take some time off, get my kidney transplant, and go back to work.
You really thought you could just do that?
I thought I could do it under the radar. It didn't work out that way, and luckily Bev and Oren from the ACLT found out about me being on dialysis and came to see me while I was on dialysis, and they explained to me why somebody with my platform, like, kind of has a duty to put my story out there, not just for me.
That's the charity, do you know what that stands for?
Yeah, Afro-Caribbean Leukemia Trust.
Cool.
So they're a charity that have been, like, instrumental in getting black people to donate blood, stem cell research, and also organ donation. And last year was a year when they were really concentrating on getting more black organ donors, and why my story was kind of important to them. So so they kind of explained to me how bad it was, and also just, like, being quite observant. Like, I would go for dialysis 3 times a week, and I would see the same black and Asian people in the hospital, like, for months and months and months. Whereas, like, our white counterparts would come in for a couple of months and then they'd be in and out, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so it was kind of like, and I didn't even notice it at first until they explained it to me, and I was like, okay, yeah, right, like, she's been here for ages and he's been here for ages. But this guy was just here, like, maybe 3 or 4 weeks, and he's got his transplant, he's gone. So, yes, I felt like it was important to go public, obviously, as well, because I wanted a kidney. And it worked. So yeah, massive shout out to the ACLT. They continue to do amazing work, and I'll always rep for them.
Wow. What was it like getting that call? Like, what did they say?
So it was random. It was kind of like, it was in the morning, but I remember exactly when it was. It was in the morning. I was just about to do my radio show, and I got a phone call about half an hour before the show, and they said, do you know this person? Do you know Naomi? This is the name of my donor. And I said, no, I don't know Naomi. They said, oh, well, she wants to give you a kidney, and we've done all of her blood work. She's actually a perfect match. I said, what? She said, yeah, she's a perfect match. And yeah, I got very emotional. And then I went to look through old messages, because when I went, what's funny, basically, when I went public, a lot of people reached out, and a lot of people, like, you see my story and you know who I am. You like, your initial thing is, oh, I want to help Ace. So a lot of people reached out and were like, oh, I would love to get tested. Give me the details. I'm going to get tested. So I sent out, like, the details of my kidney transplant coordinator loads of times. And I was never going to, like,
so you had people in your DMs offering you kidneys?
Yeah, but this is the thing.
Just like that?
Though, like, I was never going to follow up and be like, well, have you done it? Have you checked up? Like,
that's a bit...
And I was just noticing that I was not hearing from them people anymore. So I feel like people had the intention, and then when they realised maybe what was, like, what it entailed, maybe they lost their nerve, or they just changed their mind. So I wasn't going to do that. So I went into the messages, and Naomi was one of the people that actually messaged me.
Oh, wow.
And then we had a phone conversation, and we actually have somebody very close in common as well. And yeah, now we're just like best friends. That's my guy, man. That's a shout out to Naomi. That's my twin. So yeah, she was the one that gave me a kidney, living donor.
But that's mad. That's actually crazy. Wow. There's not even a. I guess you're just good friends now. Yeah, but how do you not even repay, but like, what can you?
Yeah, like, I mean, I'll be like, Naomi is amazing. She didn't want none of the like accolades.
Yeah.
She feels funny about being on social media. Like, she wouldn't give me her address for like months after. She's like, look, I don't want anything. Now I've got it, but before she did, there was nothing that she was in it for at all. This is just something that she felt compelled to do. So I just feel very blessed to know that.
And why do you think like black people or black and brown people are somewhat hesitant to go on these lists?
So this is something like this whole time I've been pitching a documentary about this very thing. Like, there's so many reasons it could be, and I know there's like loads of different old wives' tales about what happens within the hospital sector and healthcare to black people. Some of them might, like, some of these things have actually happened. Like, these things have come from somewhere. All I know is today, here, 2022, like, you don't have anything to worry about. And I feel like we've got a lot of, there's so much information out there. You can do the research yourself. Like nothing is gonna happen to you if you donate your organ to somebody. And there's a lot of brothers and sisters out there that are waiting. You don't want it to be somebody in your family. And I know there's some of it could be cultural, religious, you know what I mean? Some of it could be fear. There's a lot of distrust, but I do feel like we need to continue having these conversations. And like, people that pass away with their organs, it's like, you could have helped somebody. Like, why would you not want to do that? So it's something that we need to talk about more.
True, yeah, definitely. The documentary would be sick. I definitely hope that happens. Cool. Let's move on. We'll do like 2 more.
Cool.
Go for
you
it.
pick one.
Should I?
Yeah.
No, you pick the last one, so it's my turn. Let's do this one. This is the Cut the Chart podcast. I hope you guys can see. And the caption is "Love and Laughter with my brothers." And you guys look so happy. Obviously your podcast, there's the 4 of you running the podcast. You still weekly?
Yeah, it's just the whole podcast thing makes me laugh because like we've never really. Yes, it's a podcast. 100% is a podcast.
I'm about to deny it.
But it's like it was kind of never a podcast. It was just them linking up to chat to each other.
Because you were basically podcasting before things were a podcast.
Yeah, like we was doing this before it was actually a podcast. It was just link up and people want to hear what we're talking about. And people are so interested in what the them talk about in the barbershop. We was like, let's just record it. And so we've like never had no supermarket in, but we do it once a week because I actually know if these men feel the same way. I think it's important to catch up with your boys at least once a week. You know what I'm saying? Especially like somebody that's grown up in a single parent house and not had any like paternal brothers or no brothers at all. Like, I think it's important that men are able to have conversations at least once a week with each other, and I think. And that's kind of where it began and started from. And I thank them. Like, we're all very super close and people seem to enjoy it. We're taking a little break for a little while, but we'll be back. But yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it.
And whose idea was it to capture this? Because if you're going to say you're basically a visionary because you've done this with TV. You're doing this with podcasts.
I don't think it was me. No. I think like the barbershop that we all go to, DNR's barbershop in North London. Yeah. It was just like, it's just too fun. Like, you go, like, I'm somebody that doesn't have hair, and I'll spend the whole day in the barbershop just busting
You have hair.
Like, well, a little bit. But but people will always come in and say, this needs to be something. Like, you are too funny. And not even just us. Like, there's various different characters that come in and out of the barbershop. And people that go to barbershops every week will know there's always something that's going on. There's always a conversation. And that's literally just where it began. And like, we are all actually friends. We're not a put together cast. Like, we all use the same barbershop. We've all been in the shop at the same time at certain points. And yeah, it's kind of how it happened.
Nice. And you guys are still on a break.
Yeah.
But you're back soon, I hope.
We're going to take a little break. We're going to come back.
What's a little break?
We're going to take a tiny break. Just a tiny break.
Cool. No, I hope you guys come back because it's a hilarious podcast.
Thank you.
It is proper funny. Cool. Let us go with this one to end. And this, to be honest, I'm going to read. There's like a graphic and it says, it's a quote from you where you said, "My parents told me that I would have to work harder than white people. I didn't really believe them, and I'm saying this to my kids now, and we're in 2020. And this is off the back of George Floyd's murder. And yeah, you basically had a One Extra Talks episode, yourself and Shawnee B, where you had a really honest conversations about being black, because I think it's been a topic, but I think for the first time this topic was just everywhere after the death of George Floyd. And I mean, you said there that, you know, you were always told you had to work harder than white people in your school and etc. But there was also this conversation that you had with a caller where she admitted that she crosses the road when she sees black people. What was it like to basically hear that and have to, you know, stay calm and just conversate with someone that says that? Yeah. I rate her, to be fair.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like 100%. So there's no animosity towards her. She was super honest in what she said, and that's to be fair. Like, it didn't feel any way. It's something I knew that we do. Yeah. Like, and so many guys reached out to me after and was like, "Yeah, I do that all the time. Like, I might cross the road, or I might sit in a different carriage, or." Do you know what I'm saying? It's just something that we have to go through as black people. I feel like that whole 2020 moment was kind of super refreshing and just made me feel a lot light, because there was a lot of things that were on my chest that I wanted to get off, and I feel like there was a lot of people that had stuff that they wanted to say that didn't necessarily feel empowered or safe enough to say them things. And we had this moment, and obviously what happened to George Floyd was horrific and devastating, but the beautiful thing that came out of it was conversations that had never happened before, and people that never knew how we felt having a different understanding or hearing us say certain things. So I'm super proud of everything that went on during that moment. Just hearing you say that thing about us having to work twice as hard, I remember that during that 2020, that was something that stuck with me. It's like, I remember my mum saying, "Oh, you're gonna have to work twice as hard," and me having to say to my kids, "You're gonna have to work twice as hard." And during that year, I was just like, "No, I'm not saying that no more." Like, I don't feel like that's something that we should be like installing into our youth. Like, we should be saying, look, if you feel like they're making you work twice as hard, then you gotta call it out, rather than just saying, "Oh, you're gonna have to work twice as hard." Why is that cool? Why is that fair? That we have to work? Yeah, like, why do we have to? Like, why should our parents be okay?
Like, we've kind of accepted that that's what it is.
Like, why should our parents be like, "Yeah, you have to work twice"? Like, that's not fair, mum. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like now, rather than just telling like black kids or brown kids you're gonna have to work twice as hard, we have to say, okay, well, if they're making you work twice as hard, well, let's call it out. Let's do something about it. And I feel like that's definitely what has happened. And I think like that whole thing just literally made me think about myself, my children, and I don't know, like even that whole like twice as hard thing is like what opportunities have been denied to any people just based on their skin color or their race. I mean, we could go deep, but yeah, I feel like I was very proud of that specific that actual program did a lot. We won an award for it, and I just felt like it was an amazing time, especially for me and my broadcast career, and just for people like within industry and around the world to just be able to just open dialogue about racism and stuff that they've been through.
Yeah. See, this, because obviously, I mean, you're a music head, R&B is your thing, but this was a talk show, it was speech. And I mean, you won an award for it. Yeah. You're talking about potential documentaries. Like, this is you're turning like a deeper Ace at the moment. Is that the sort of angle that you want to go down, or I mean, you're the R&B king, and R&B, you shouldn't stop that.
I would definitely not stop that.
You shouldn't.
But yeah, I mean, you get older, innit, and like you wanna explore different things, and you got more things to say, and I got knowledge, and I got more wisdom, and I feel like I could give back. So that's just evolution, innit?
Yeah.
But I mean, radio is something that I'm always gonna want to do. I love it. Absolutely love like being on air. I'm really enjoying this R&B show at the moment, and I'd like to do more. Like maybe more TV, more documentaries, all that kind of stuff.
Amazing. I mean, your Instagram, it was a journey. It was a journey. There was so many posts, but I think those ones, it painted a nice picture about yourself, and we've all learned. I mean, there's a lot that we can take from this. I mean, going forward, I mean, overall, would you say that you're quite an outgoing person on social media? I mean, if we've done this in a couple of years, how much more are you going to give? Less?
No,
how do you feel?
I feel like I'm going to get, it's probably going to be less, but...
Really? Why?
I don't know. I don't know, man. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like in this really stupid mood and I wouldn't mind doing something stupid on Instagram. Sometimes you might catch me on a day when I'm just you'll find out everywhere I'm going because of my stories, but I'm never like a super outgoing person. It's always going to be like a little bit
A little bit. No, I think that's a good way to be. No, this has been sick. Thank you so much for joining us.
Making numbers.